The third set of letters in the pre-cursive script are the one-arm robot letters. They all go up, down, and then over. So let's have a look at some of those now. The first one is the letter R. So we go up, down, and over. And you can see it's not a straight up, it's sort of a curving up into the letter R to help us to join it to the previous letter. So we're going up, down, and over. And you can see that it's a short letter again, it's only about halfway up. There's a temptation with an R just to do this and go over. That's not what we want to see at all. We're going up, down, and over. If you can do the letter R, you could do a letter M. Up, down, but then all the way over, and you can just see the little flick on the end there to help us join into the next letter. Up, down, over and flick. Up, down, over and flick. If you can do the letter N, you can do a letter M. They're exactly the same. Up, down, but this time just go over twice. And make sure that line in the centre is coming all the way down to the line again. Keep them nice and short. They should only be about halfway up. Not too tall. Up, down, over, over. Make sure with all these letters, especially ones like the N, that your ups and downs aren't too high. You can see if you do an N with a really tall bit at the beginning, it ends up looking like a letter H. So be careful to keep them controlled. Most of them should only go about halfway up. The ones that do go to the top are like the letter H. So they'll go all the way up, down, over, and flick. You can see why it's important to make sure you distinguish between the N and the H there. All the way up, all the way down, over, and flick. All the way up, all the way down, over, and flick. There's a temptation for children to go all the way up, stop sort of here, and then come over. You need to come all the way back down again, and then arch over into the letter H. Another tall one is the letter B. All the way up, all the way down, put a bubble on, and a flick. And that little flick at the bottom will help you to join into the next letter when we start to do our cursive. All the way up, all the way down, bubble, and a flick. All the way up, all the way down, bubble, and a flick. Another letter that's tall like that is the letter K. This one can be a bit tricky, but don't panic. Keep practicing and you'll get there. It goes all the way up, all the way down, a bubble in the middle, and click. Okay, now getting that bubble at the right height is the real tricky bit here. So it's all the way up, all the way down, and then you bring your pen back about halfway up, put your bubble on, and kick. It just takes lots of practice to get it in the right place and to make it look small and neat. If you're making mistakes, don't try and cross them out and rub them out and things like that. Just keep practicing, use up all the paper you need and get it spot on. The trick is to just keep practicing and practicing and practicing until you can do those sorts of things without thinking about it. The last one in this group is the letter P. It goes halfway up, down through the line, back up, bubble and flick. The temptation here is to go all the way up and down and then take your pen away and add that little bubble on afterwards. We want to keep the pen on for the whole process because when we start cursive writing, when we join them all together, we do a whole word without taking our pencil off the page. Up, down, up, bubble, flick. Up, down, up, bubble, flick. You can see that that tail on the P doesn't go all the way down to the next line. It's somewhere about halfway down. So let's have a look at those in a bit more detail. We've got the letter R, which goes up, down, and over. Up, down, and over. Up, down, and over. Keep them nice and short. They shouldn't be tall letters. They should only be about halfway up. The letter N, up, down, and this time, all the way over. Up, down, and all the way over. Up, down, and all the way over. If you can do a letter N, a letter M should be nice and simple. Up, down, and over twice. Making sure again that this line in the middle also comes all the way back down to the line. Up, down, and over twice. Up, down, and over twice. Okay. The next letter in that group is a H. It's a tall letter this time, so what we're going to do is go all the way up, all the way down, and then over. All the way up, all the way down, and then over. All the way up, all the way down, and then over. There's a temptation sometimes to go all the way up, come about halfway down, and then put the bit on. That's not what we want to see. It's all the way up, all the way down, and then over. The next one is the letter B. So we're going to go all the way up, all the way down, bubble, and flick. All the way up, all the way down, bubble, and flick. Again, make sure we're coming all the way back down to the line again before we do our bubble and our flick. Those flicks there are going to help you when we start to think about cursive, where we join our letters together. The next one is the letter K. All the way up, all the way down, and we're going to go back up for a bubble somewhere in the middle and a flick. The real judgment here and the skill with the K is getting that bubble somewhere in the right place and keeping it of a smallish size. Keep practicing and you'll get that perfect. And the last one in this group is the letter P. Quite a few steps here. Up, down, up, bubble, flick. So watch again. Halfway up, down and through, back up again, bubble, and flick. Try and keep your pen on the page for the whole letter. Halfway up, about halfway down, round, and flick. Have a really good practice of all those letters. When you're getting really confident with them, you can have a go at the next set.